So guys, I'm here at the Mactan Shrine, and I'm going to be doing a video on finding happiness in the Philippines. Stick around. Okay, so hey guys, I am at Mactan Shrine here, and today we're going to talk about being happy in the Philippines. And I think a lot of people come out here, they expect that the Philippines is going to change their life, and make them a happier person. And sometimes if you're out in the West and you aren't in a happy place already, then coming out here probably isn't going to change a whole lot of things. And I want to talk about a few different things tonight. One, some people are so fixated on coming out here just to meet a girl that they don't even know if they're actually going to even be happy out in the Philippines. So they're so fixated on that, and maybe they don't find the right girl right away. And then they're just not happy with the infrastructure. They're not happy with how unorganized it is, or certain things like that. And I think you really need to come out here and already be kind of in a happy place, and come out here and want to live here in Southeast Asia, and not just because you're moving out here because you met a girl online that maybe you haven't met in person yet, or even just move out here and think you're going to find the right girl and happiness is going to follow. So I think that's where a lot of people make a mistake. So I think one of the things is you got to discover what brings you happiness. And for most people, it's usually social interactions. And what do I mean by that? Social interactions. Well, if you come out to the Philippines, I think you will be much happier with the social interactions. They're just friendlier, more approachable. And if you come out here, I think you will experience that. And if you just come out and you hang out with expats, you get a lot of negative expats here. And a lot of people don't talk about that, but there's a lot of negative expats out here that just complain. They want to talk about how much stuff they miss, and in the US we had this, or in Australia we had that. And I think that's a mistake. You have to kind of let things go and say, this is the Philippines, and this is how things are, and accept it, and you're probably going to be in a happier place. The other thing is material possessions. I think most people in the West are so programmed into thinking that material possessions are actually going to make them happier, and I don't know if it does. It really, most people look back and they say, my happiness is tied to an event, or a time where I traveled to a certain place, or people that I've met along the way, a relationship that I've had. So a lot of people, they were living in the West, and let's say they had a 3,000 square foot home, and they come out here and all of a sudden they have a 300 square foot home, and they're happier. And the reason why is because social interactions, traveling, people that they've met, and I think that brings happiness a lot more than a lot of people who live out in the West. They're living in a 3,000 square foot home, and they have everything. They've got their granite countertops, they got their crystal wine glasses. At the end of the day, it really doesn't matter what kind of glass you're drinking out of to drink water, or have a glass of wine, right? I mean, it doesn't bring you any more happiness having granite countertops or regular countertops, or having a regular glass or a crystal glass that you're drinking your wine out of, So I think if people can let that go, and when you come out here, you're going to probably be in a happier place as well. For example, you look at Filipinos. Filipinos are a great example of this. You look at some of the kids behind me, and they're just all playing and they're laughing. And you get that in the US too, but the kids here and the adults, they all come out here and they're smiling, having a good time, and most of them probably don't have a whole lot. They don't have a lot of possessions, but what they have is they have great families, close relationships with families, close relationships with their friends, and they don't need a lot. They really kind of just, for lack of better words, they really just kind of rely on each other to make themselves happy, you know, and they don't need the possessions. It's all about those creating moments and bonds and things like that. So I've noticed that, and in the U.S. it's almost like it's hey, I just got a new 70-inch TV, or hey, I got granite countertops, or hey, I got this, or hey, we stayed at the 5-star hotel, and you know, it doesn't seem to be related to, again, the social interactions and the relationships and people that you've met, and I see a big difference here about that. Another couple of points I wanted to make is, like, here you do have advertising to get this and buy that, but it's usually just very simple products to buy. It's not in your face, like you got to have this new car, you got to have this new motorbike, you need this, you need that. It's really, there's not the pressure to keep up with the Joneses and buy the latest car, buy the latest new house, or it just, you don't seem to have those pressures like you do in the West, and it's just much more relaxed here. They just kind of enjoy life more, and the constant advertising in your face that you need this and you need that and you need the latest model of this. It's just constantly in your face in the West, and it's just, I don't really see it here too much, and so that can make a big difference, and that creates a lot of stress out in the West, and here people don't worry about it. There's really no stress, and most people don't even use credit out here, so they don't have all this debt, you know, and debt creates a lot of stress for people out in the US, in Australia and other places. And here, really, it's a very much cash society, so if you don't have the cash, you're not buying that item. And out in the West, if you don't have cash, guess what? 6 months, no payments, no interest. You can own that item and you can walk out the door with it and you have it. And you don't have to worry about it for 6 months, but in 6 months, all of a sudden you got the interest and the monthly payments, and then you have your car payment and your insurance and everything else, and that creates a lot of stress. And that's one thing I noticed right away when I moved out to the Philippines, is all of that went away. It's cash society, and I live that life now too. If I don't have cash for something here, I don't buy it. If I want a new camera, for example, the DJI Pocket 2 that I'm using right now, you know, I saved up for it and I bought it. If I didn't go and put it on a credit card, I didn't go and do financing at the store. And that's one thing I really like here. I actually like that it's back in time, almost like it's in the 70s or the 80s back in the West. You know, it's, if you don't have cash, you don't get it, and I kind of like that. There's not a lot of stress with that. Another thing, people here, they don't seem to let things get them upset. Now, a lot of Westerners come out here and they let little things stress them out, like, oh, I can't believe this road, look at all the holes in it, and you know, and in the West, you get stressed about things like that, and I think that's just because you're already in a stressed environment. And here, people just kind of like, oh, that road will get fixed tomorrow, or the road will get fixed next year with the next election. You know, they don't really worry about it. It is what it is, and that's it. They move on with their life, and they're happy. And I've noticed that with Filipinos. They just don't really let things bother them. They kind of live for the day. And I think there's even a Visayan or Tagalog saying about that, and I don't know it, but if you're Filipino and you're watching, you can comment down below, but there's a saying about that. But they just, they enjoy life, and you could say there's some bad to some of that with planning and stuff in the future, but for the most part, I think it's really positive that they just enjoy. They don't let things get upset. You know what? If a Filipino goes and eats at a restaurant and they don't like it, they usually just don't go back. Now in the West, you would be complaining to the manager, wanting a free meal. You might go on Yelp and write a bad review and tell all your friends. In here, they're not like that. They just, I just won't eat here. You know, they just let things go, and I like that about here. They just don't let things bother them. They just get on with their life. And so hopefully this gives you guys some food for thought. But try to let go of your problems ahead of time. Come out to the Philippines with more of an open mind. You're going to be here. You kind of have to accept the way things are, and that's just the way it is. And don't come out here with a fixated reason, like I'm coming out here for this one girl and that's it. You should be coming out here because you probably want to move to the Philippines, not simply because of one person or because you watched a vlogger or somebody and they said this is fantastic. Come out and make your own opinion on it, but don't just move out here just because of a girl. That's always a mistake, in my opinion. So guys, appreciate watching. Thank you so much. Give me a thumbs up, share if you like this video, subscribe, hit that bell notification. That way you're updated every time I come out with a new video. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Wow. Come on, groove it on. I said, baby, I know you're on a roll. Sweet honey, let's take it.